The monsoon winds are here, cool and nice, yet to yield rain. Tamil Nadu has been shy of rain for some time. Those of you who've been through the summer here, you understand the blessing of the monsoon breeze. So we need to understand this. The water on the planet has always been the same quantity. The question is, who will have it? Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's somewhere else. We just have to know, what do we have to do to get it here? But never has it so happened, people think the water has gone somewhere, it's not gone anywhere. It's just here, but maybe not available to us, that's the only problem. The same goes for grace, it's just like attracting rain, just like that. The grace is always there, abundantly there. The question is only, will I get it or not? That's only the question. The rain-bearing clouds, they have no discretion. They are willing to shed their load anywhere. They're eager to shed as quickly as possible. But you must sit here and watch whether they will shed it here or they will pass us and shed it somewhere else. This means we're doing something wrong. This means we do not know how to draw the rain. Because we are little English educated and we've been singing, rain, rain, go away. This happened. This is actually happening, this is a fact. The Japanese, anybody here? No, only Chinese, no Japanese. The Japanese people eat much less fat than the Americans and the British. Because of this, people believe they have much less incidence of cardiac arrest. Less people in Japan die of heart failures and heart attacks than they do in UK and in United States. But the French eat lot more fat, but still they have much less incidence of cardiac problems compared to the British and the Americans. The Japanese people don't drink much wine, so they have much less cardiac problems. But the Italians drink only wine. And they also have much less cardiac problems than the English and the Americans. So the deduction is, it is the English language which is the problem. The English speaking which is the problem. So this has been a problem everywhere, that we try to transplant what is happening in one place simply as it is in another place. Not just geographically and culturally, even from individual to individual. That what worked for one person, we try to make it work for another person and destroy that person completely. Unfortunately, this is labeled as education, mass-producing people. Though we are a mass of people on this planet, a huge number, over 7 billion people, still you were produced individually, not mass-produced, are you? Right from my childhood, I've been noticing this, that most adults want to teach something when they see children. All those damn things which have not worked in their life. This is one vow you have to take with me, that is, from this moment onwards in your life, you will not pass on anything that has not worked for you to anybody else. Hello? Even if you cannot pass on the best things to other people, at least what has not worked for you, you don't give it to anybody. Will you do this? Does anger work for you? Don't give it to anybody. Does misery work for you? Does depression work for you? So, if you are angry, if you're depressed, you're miserable, just shut up, okay? And sit in one place and handle it. But the miserable people are the ones who are always talking and sharing. When they're joyful, they may not talk so much. When they're miserable, they talk a lot. Will you take care of this, that what is not working for you, you will not give it to anybody? Huh? This much sense we have, this much sense we must have. If you do not have the best things, doesn't matter. At least what doesn't work, don't pass it on. Let it die with you. Huh? I would like you also to be blissed out, but you want to die miserably, it's up to you. But at least don't infect the world. Yes? So, this much care everybody must take. Stupid things that don't work for you are happening within you, you must just shut up. Children also? Yes? If something is working wonderfully for you, then please chirp. See, even the birds know this. They all start tweeting only when they're very happy. When they're miserable, they simply sit quietly. A very beautiful incident happened in Ramayana. Rama, too many unfortunate happenings in his life. He is a king. For some reason, he loses his kingdom, or he gives up his kingdom, or whichever way. Or he's conned out of his kingdom, or he's too gentle to protest and walks away from it into the jungle, lives a hard life. Then his wife gets kidnapped by Ravana. And then, having love for his wife and being despondent about the loss of her and being concerned what could be happening to her, he walks all the way down south, gathers an army of Tamil people. Yeah, who else was in Tamil Nadu? And gets across to Sri Lanka, wages a war, defeats Ravan in the battle, slays him. As all of you know, Ravan had 10 heads. With one you're struggling. At 10. So Rama went about, 10 slaughters, so that the man is dead. Battle won, they're coming back to Ayodhya. Rama chooses, he says, I don't want to go back to the kingdom, I want to go to Himalayas and spend some time in the cave of Agastya Muni because I want to repent for the great sin that I have committed. I have killed someone who was pious, a great devotee of Shiva, a phenomenal scholar, a great king, a generous man. The others were shocked. Lakshmana, his brother, said, "What are you talking about? Ravana kidnapped your wife." Rama said, "See, those are the other 9 heads. In these other 9 heads of his, he had greed, jealousy, lust, all kinds of things. But there was one head which had great wisdom, knowledge, piety, devotion. I regret taking that head. I would have liked to leave that head alone, not kill the man, but there was no way to do it, so I had to do this. But I am in great repentance because I took away that one head." What this is trying to tell you is, all of you have 10 or more heads, all kinds of things. Do you see? One day your head is in greed, another day in jealousy, another day in hatred, another day in love, another day in beauty, another day in ugliness. Yes or no? Or the same day you go through everything? If I see you in a moment of jealousy, I'll say, "This is a jealous one." If I see you in a moment of greed, I say, "This is a greedy one." If I see you in a moment of hatred, I say, "That is a hateful one." If I see you in a moment of lust, I say, "That's a lustful one." No. Everybody has 10 and more heads. At different times, different heads are working. But everybody has head, at least one head of love, beauty, generosity, compassion, at least one head. There is… So the biggest mistake you do in your life is that instead of identifying and condemning a quality, you condemn an individual person. This is what Rama is trying to say. It doesn't matter, he did so many horrible things. Those are the other 9 heads, but that one head I saw of tremendous possibility. But unfortunately, I had to take that. I want all of you to follow this fundamental principle in the ashram and wherever else you may be, that if you see something wrong in somebody, we will only condemn that, not him or her. If you bring this wisdom in this new year, if you just bring this wisdom, this bogie, all the baggage will go. When you do this to others, the same will happen to you. There is no need to conclude, I am this way, I am that way, or I am like this only. Well, that's how you've been in some moments. In some moments you've been a horrible creature. In some moments you've been beautiful. In some moments you've been ugly. In some moments you've been wonderful. If you don't empower the possibility and take away that which blocks your possibility, then you are not a spiritual seeker. You are a… we must make you a kangaroo court judge. She's not okay, she's not okay, he's not okay, he's not okay, he's not okay, he's not okay. And there are a few new people here whom we're yet to know, they are beautiful. That is a judgmental life. Otherwise, the more you get to know somebody, more love and compassion should happen because now you know all their struggles and problems and things. And suddenly you know, they are bloody as human as you are. Yes? Rama is doing penance for having killed a man who kidnaps his wife, and he's done many terrible things. But Rama is still identifying, there was one head which was so beautiful, I shouldn't have removed that. This is a man of great wisdom. This is why he is worshipped. Every sensible human being is like this. If you see a rose plant, we call it a rose plant. Tell me, are there more roses or more thorns? More thorns. But we call it a rose plant because we recognize the beauty. Maybe only one rose, but 1,000 thorns, but we still call it a rose plant. If you see a mango tree, there are more mangoes or more leaves? Definitely more leaves. We don't call it a leaf tree, we call it a mango tree because we recognize the sweetness that it drops. Those drops of sweetness, full of leaf, but that one mango, wow, mango. Why don't we see this in people? If there is one drop of sweetness. Have you seen any human being without a single drop of sweetness? Have you seen? Then please do this. Before Pongal or Mattu Pongal comes, depending on which category you are. Please, everybody around you, the people that you work with on a daily basis, people with whom you've been rubbing, no, not rubbing shoulders, oh no. Just do this. The people that you… that horrible person, this terrible woman, just see that one drop of sweetness can you recognize, because if you cannot recognize that, it will not reflect in you. You better know that. Terrible things that you see in other people will reflect in you. This does not mean you should become blind to everything. No, we see the leaf in the tree, we see the thorns in the rose bush, but we acknowledge the flower and the fruit. That's all we need to do. Rama's birthday is also coming in a couple of months. A very beautiful incident happened in Ramayana. Rama, too many unfortunate happenings in his life. He is a king, for some reason he loses his kingdom, or he gives up his kingdom, or whichever way. Or he's conned out of his kingdom, or he's too gentle to protest and walks away from it into the jungle, lives a hard life. Then his wife gets kidnapped by Ravana. And then, having love for his wife and being despondent about the loss of her and being concerned what could be happening to her, he walks all the way down south, gathers an army of Tamil people. Yeah, who else was in Tamil Nadu? and gets across to Sri Lanka, wages a war, defeats Ravan in the battle, slays him. As all of you know, Ravan had 10 heads. With one you're struggling. At 10. So Rama went about, 10 slaughters, so that the man is dead. Battle won, they're coming back to Ayodhya. Rama chooses, he says, I don't want to go back to the kingdom, I want to go to Himalayas and spend some time in the cave of Agastya Muni, because I want to repent for the great sin that I have committed. I have killed someone who was pious, a great devotee of Shiva, a phenomenal scholar, a great king, a generous man. The others were shocked. Lakshmana, his brother, said, what are you talking about? Ravana kidnapped your wife. Rama said, see, those are the other 9 heads. In these other 9 heads of his, he had greed, jealousy, lust, all kinds of things. But there was one head which had great wisdom, knowledge, piety, devotion. I regret taking that head. I would have liked to leave that head alone, not kill the man, but there was no way to do it, so I had to do this. But I am in great repentance because I took away that one head. What this is trying to tell you is, all of you have 10 or more heads, all kinds of things. Do you see? One day your head is in greed, another day in jealousy, another day in hatred, another day in love, another day in beauty, another day in ugliness. Yes or no? Or the same day you go through everything. If I see you in a moment of jealousy, I said, this is a jealous one. If I see you in a moment of greed, I said, this is a greedy one. If I see you in a moment of hatred, I said, that is a hateful one. If I see you in a moment of lust, I said, that's a lustful one. No. Everybody has 10 and more heads. At different times, different heads are working. But everybody has head, at least one head of love, beauty, generosity, compassion, at least one head. There is… So the biggest mistake you do in your life is that instead of identifying and condemning a quality, you condemn an individual person. This is what Rama is trying to say. It doesn't matter, he did so many horrible things. Those are the other 9 heads, but that one head I saw of tremendous possibility, but unfortunately I had to take that. I want all of you to follow this fundamental principle in the ashram and wherever else you may be, that if you see something wrong in somebody, we will only condemn that, not him or her. If you bring this wisdom in this new year, if you just bring this wisdom, this bogey, all the baggage will go. When you do this to others, the same will happen to you. There is no need to conclude, I am this way, I am that way, or I am like this only. Well, that's how you've been in some moments. In some moments you've been a horrible creature. In some moments you've been beautiful. In some moments you've been ugly. In some moments you've been wonderful. If you don't empower the possibility and take away that which blocks your possibility, then you are not a spiritual seeker. You are a… we must make you a kangaroo court judge. She's not okay, she's not okay, he's not okay, he's not okay, he's not okay, he's not okay. And there are a few new people here whom we're yet to know, they are beautiful. That is a judgmental life. Otherwise, the more you get to know somebody, more love and compassion should happen because now you know all their struggles and problems and things. And suddenly you know, they are bloody as human as you are. Yes? Rama is doing penance for having killed a man who kidnaps his wife, and he's done many terrible things. But Rama is still identifying, there was one head which was so beautiful, I shouldn't have removed that. This is a man of great will. This is why he is worshipped. Every sensible human being is like this. If you see a rose plant, we call it a rose plant. Tell me, are there more roses or more thorns? More thorns. But we call it a rose plant because we recognize the beauty. Maybe only one rose, but 1,000 thorns, but we still call it a rose plant. If you see a mango tree, there are more mangoes or more leaves? Definitely more leaves. We don't call it a leaf tree, we call it a mango tree because we recognize the sweetness that it drops. Those drops of sweetness, full of leaf, but that one mango, wow, mango. Why don't we see this in people? If there is one drop of sweetness. Have you seen any human being without a single drop of sweetness? Have you seen? Then please do this. Before Pongal or Mattu Pongal comes, depending on which category you are. Please, everybody around you, the people that you work with on a daily basis, people with whom you've been rubbing, no, not rubbing shoulders, oh no. Just do this. The people that you… that horrible person, this terrible woman, just see that one drop of sweetness can you recognize, because if you cannot recognize that, it will not reflect in you. You better know that. Terrible things that you see in other people will reflect in you. This does not mean you should become blind to everything. No. We see the leaf in the tree, we see the thorns in the rose bush, but we acknowledge the flower and the fruit. That's all we need to do. Rama's birthday is also coming in a couple of months.
I think a lot of kids and having grown up as well, there have been a lot of questions in my head in terms of myself, my capabilities and my abilities. Something called self-doubt is definitely something that has been an issue that I have probably faced and overcome. But I would also like to know what your view on this is. How does one overcome self-doubt, especially as a youngster?
Namaskaram, Rajina. I'm glad you're growing up, huh? I know everybody is telling you, believe in yourself, believe in yourself. I would say, please doubt yourself. whatever is going right or wrong in your life, first thing is to see, maybe it's me who caused this. Look at it carefully, if it's not you, then we look at others. The so-called confident idiots are stepping on everybody's everything and what. Self-belief or any kind of belief will bring you confidence without clarity. The level of damage that's happened to this planet and to life around us, everything is because confidence without clarity. If you had little doubt about what you're doing, you would think 10 times before you do something, isn't it? And that would be a sensible world. I want everybody to have some self-doubt. Anyway, coming to physiological and psychological growth, when we say growing up, there are many dimensions to a human being. There's physiological growth, there's psychological growth, there is emotional and other dimensions of growth in a human being. Most of the time, we measure growth physiologically and the next possibility is psychologically. See, body is a very tangible element. So it grows at a certain pace. In some people's mildly faster or slower, but it grows at a certain pace. But the psychological dimension of who you are is not such a tangible process, it's an intangible process, more flexible, more mobile or nebulous. So it should be able to grow well ahead of your physiological process. If growth pangs, if people are having, it is mainly because their psychological growth is not one step at least ahead of their physiological growth. So, though the same things have happened to trillions of people on this planet forever, still it looks like it's happening for the first time in the universe, and they're surprised and they're shocked and many things. This is just because their psychological growth is behind their physiological growth. This is very important. In a society, we create a situation where every child is psychologically at least one step ahead of their physiological growth. If you do just this one thing in your life, you will see whether it is adolescence or middle age or old age, you will not be surprised by anything. You know how to deal with it, you know how to handle it, and there'll be no shocks and upheavals in your life for simple processes. Right now, people are living in such a way that toddlers are having diaper problems, teenagers are having hormonal issues, middle-aged people are having middle-age crisis. Old age, of course, people are suffering. Tell me one dimension of life people are not seeing as a problem. Life is not a problem, life is a certain process. The question is only, have you prepared yourself for the process or not?
So my question is, should we believe in that like the qualities of vegetarianism, non-alcoholism, celibacy, practice them so that we make our body fit, so that the kriya of 11 minutes will be more effective?
See, this is what I've been saying right through. Why even eating is a moral value? Food is about the body. We must eat what is suitable for this body. But right now you're talking about making food into a habit. I want to tell you, there is no such thing as good habit and bad habit. Habit means you are functioning unconsciously. If you're functioning unconsciously, that's a bad thing because the whole thing about being human is we are capable of doing things consciously. That is the beauty of being human, that we can do everything consciously. What an animal does unconsciously, we can do the same thing consciously. We can eat unconsciously or we can eat consciously. We can breathe unconsciously or we can breathe consciously. Everything that we can do it consciously. The moment we do something consciously, suddenly that human being looks very refined and wonderful. Just because somebody walks and speaks consciously, doesn't he become a beautiful human being? Yes or no? That's all. So why is it that we are trying to develop habits as if there's a good thing? Habit means fixed realities, where you don't have to think. You get up in the morning and it'll happen to you. No, don't try to automize your life. That is not efficiency, that is the efficiency of the machine. This one is supposed to function intelligently and consciously. Nobody is expecting it to function like a machine. So, about food and stuff, food must be suitable for the body that we eat for. It is for the body. This is a building material for this body, the food that you're eating. What is the appropriate food? Unfortunately, it's all messed up right now. Traditionally, we ate very sensibly in this country, but these 1,000 years of innovations have brought other kinds of food cultures, and today the national diet is pizza or pasta. What is it? Which is one? I don't know. Both were competing. So, we are losing our sense about food. It's definitely time to look at what is the most suitable thing. If I go into that food, it's a very long process, but you must experiment with food, not just by the tongue, but by the body. You eat something today and see, just learn to observe how agile and how active your body feels after eating this food. If it feels like it wants to go to the grave, that's not good food. If it feels like it wants to be alive after eating this, except coffee, because that's a stimulant. If you eat food and your body feels very agile and alive, that means it's good food, body is liking it. If you eat something, it feels dull, that means it's not liking it, it's having difficulty with it, that's why it feels dull. So just on this basis, there's a much… this is a very simplistic way of putting it.
Let's come to the opportunities. We've addressed strength, we've addressed weaknesses. What are the opportunities the nation has today in nation building with 1.2 billion people?
See, India is this nation is a tremendous opportunity, a possibility. This is something that anybody who looks at this nation with closely enough can clearly see here. Rest of the world clearly sees that this is a nation of tremendous possibility. But what we need to understand is, between a possibility and a reality, there is a distance. Do you have the courage, commitment and the conviction to walk the distance? That's always the question. Definitely it's a great possibility, we are sitting on the threshold. But do not underestimate our ability to goof things up. I'm not being pessimistic, I'm the last person to be pessimistic about anything, but I know our ability to goof things. I see it every day. The way they drive on the street, the way they do things, the way everything is made. We have a phenomenal ability to goof up things because we are too much genius with very little organization. Yes. Everybody thinks he's a genius. If you go sit in a tea shop, in a street side, in a rural India… No, I'm not talking politics. If you sit in a tea shop in somewhere rural India, street side, because I've driven across the country, I've sat in dabas and tea shops so much. I've crisscrossed India on my motorcycle, so I lived in dabas and tea shops all the time. So, you will see, the guy who's making the tea there, he will be telling how Tendulkar should have made the right shot. How how his technique is not good, he's doing the wrong approach.
Or Bishan Bedi sitting here, how he could have bowled.
Whatever, these kind of things. He will be talking about how the Prime Minister should have run the country differently. Only problem with him is he does not know how to make good tea. So, this is a problem, we're too exuberant. A society like this is generally considered a high-context society. We're too much context, not enough content. It's a very beautiful way to exist on one level, but if we do not organize, if we do not focus this natural exuberance of the people, a certain intelligence which is free-willing intelligence, you will have a chaotic situation which seems to be going somewhere but not going anywhere. It's like a whirlwind making its own rounds. So it needs a little forceful engagement of pushing it in a certain direction. A little authority to push it. People don't understand what powers India. It's powered by itself. It's just like a whirlwind. But you must be able to direct it in the direction that you want it to go. That needs a little bit of authority. But we picked up all kinds of fancy ideas. We don't like authority, you know. We don't like any kind of authority. We would like to go all over the place. Just see, the driving on the street is a clear demo. I'm not talking about authoritarianism, but a certain authority which organizes this whirlwind of chaos is needed for this country to push it in one direction, otherwise we'll keep going round and round. We've been sitting on a threshold. For me, the economic development that everybody is talking about, I am not thinking about how you can transform your life from Maruti to Mercedes, that doesn't matter to me. I'm not against cars, I like them but that is not the thing. There are over 600 million people. Today night, after this is over, when we go wherever we go, table at which we sit, there will be a choice of dinner that you and me can choose. There are 600 million people who have no such choice tonight. The child who has to go to school tomorrow, he is not eating what is necessary for him to go and remember who is Mahatma Gandhi's wife. He doesn't care a damn, because he's not eaten right. The woman who carries a child in her womb doesn't have the necessary nourishment to bring out something that's worthwhile. Now, this can change in next 5 to 8 years' time if we handle things right. It matters that we handle this right.
So you really combined the opportunity with the threat. Because the same population, the same energy, if goofed up, as you said, could be a threat.
Of
Is
course.
there any other threat other than this?
See, this is the biggest threat for India. This also happened in the economic forum. Our people, particularly the corporate and also the ministers were… You know, everywhere you hear this, I think everybody is repeating this chant, we are the youngest nation in the world, we are the youngest nation in the world. I sat through this and I was amazed why everybody is gloating about we are the youngest nation. So I asked them, what happened to the old people? They said, what? No, we are the youngest nation. I said, that's okay, but what happened to the old people?
Yeah.
I want you to know in India, nobody gets old. People die young. That's why we are the youngest nation in the world. Yes. It is a tragedy that we don't have old people. But this tragedy can be turned into a tremendous possibility right now, because compared to the rest of the world, we are a youthful nation, we have the opportunity to power ourselves into well-being. But we must understand why we are the youngest nation. Suppose we are saying right now 60% of the population is below 30 and we are very proud. Tomorrow you find 60% of the population is below 15. Something wrong has happened or no? Why are we not looking at it? We've not run it properly. Why don't we see people are not growing old, people are not living… My great-grandmother lived to be 113. Nobody is living like that. Everybody is dying in their 50s and 60s or even less. So we have the synergy of youth right now. Though our poets are eulogizing many things about the country, I want you to understand, for 1.25 billion people, you neither have the land, nor mountains, nor forests, nor rivers, nor even a piece of sky for 1.25 billion people. If all of them have to live in decent housing, almost literally, huge occupation will happen, there'll be nothing left. Only reason why we seem to be managing is because they're living like cattle packed up in one room, 12 people are sleeping, we're managing. If every one of them has to have a decent bedroom, you won't have place. So only thing that you have is people. If you have this population, educated, focused, balanced and inspired, we are a miracle. If you leave them uneducated, unfocused, uninspired, unskilled, we are the biggest disaster waiting.
Do we need money?
We have the money. We have the money, we have not had a determined leadership. What has been lacking is leadership, because I'm not somebody who takes any political stance, but I'm just looking back, I'm seeing, leave the first 25 years after independence. They did whatever best they could do with little that they had, and it's a heady times, okay? But after the passing of Jawaharlal Nehru, we've not really had a prime minister. In the sense, somebody always except that Lal Bahadur Shastri for a short period and maybe Narasimha Rao for a little period, which was government was tottering all the time. Rest of the time, somebody becomes a prime minister only because somebody dies, and Indian emotion, like a cinemite, overtakes everybody, and somebody's daughter, somebody's son, somebody becomes the prime minister. We've never really had someone who has roots in the nation, who knows what this country is and who's burning with aspiration to make this nation something. We've never had that. It's only by default that people have become prime ministers in this country.
But don't the leaders come from within the community, within the people?
No, I'm saying prime ministers happen only because somebody died.
But you also have certain states. We're talking about even state governance. We're not only talking about central governance.
Yes, but…
India has 29 states today. It's state governance. Look what's happening with Uttar Pradesh today. Uttar Pradesh, what is happening? It's a leadership which was elected 2.5 years ago with overwhelming acceptance. What happened? It come from within. But what's gone wrong? What is the present state? I'm not saying gone wrong or right. So aren't people responsible for it?
No. We are a democracy in paper. But our mindset is essentially feudal. Because I'm saying even among the elite and educated, suppose you do well tomorrow, suppose our present Prime Minister does really well tomorrow, people will cry, I wish we had a son. You understand? People will cry, we wish he had a son, because when he goes, his son could become the Prime Minister. I'm saying in our mindset, we are still feudalistic. So when you are feudalistic, things are run in a certain way. What essentially it means is being feudalistic or democratic is, feudalistic means who your father was matters. Democracy means I don't care a damn who your father was, I don't want to know. This is why I said Mahatma Gandhi's wife, I don't want to know who she is, I don't want to know who Mahatma Gandhi's father is. We bow down to him for who he is, and that's all that matters to us. And that's how it should be in a democratic nation. We care who you are, we don't care who your father was. You may care who your father was, I don't care who your father was. I only care who you are.
David Brower was a smart man. He said, capitalism is a great idea, we ought to try it. By that he meant recognize the value of trees standing, of oceans thriving, of the many things that we rely on, the web of life that supports us all. That has value too, and should be figured into any economic model.
I think in all this, the biggest problem is this idea in human mind that every other life is here to serve us. That idea needs to go. This is a religious idea which has gotten into everybody's heads. I've lived in jungles, I see reptiles, ants, grasshoppers, bees, elephants, they have a full-fledged life of their own, complete life of their own. And how come we think we are the only life that's worthwhile here? This is a wrong idea that's gone into human head. Every other life is here to serve us. This needs to go.
For our own well-being, we can't lose those species. It's like how many rivets can you lose from an airplane before it ceases to fly? For our own well-being, for our own survival, we need that web of life to live. If we lose the bees, the pollinators, we know what that will do to our food supply. We've seen what the loss of trees has done around the world. We need all those many species. They keep us all aloft, they keep us all thriving.
Some of the studies show that if all the worms disappear right now, all life on the planet will disappear in 18 months' time. If all the insects disappear, in 3.5 to 4 years' time, all life will disappear. But if all of us disappear, the planet will flourish. So we must know what is the significance of our life with theirs.
All this should be figured into economic models, as you wisely did with the Rally for Rivers. you went and involved the economic agencies and what have you. Because when you look at the cost of this home, for instance, people normally look at the cost of the home as labor and materials. That's the cost. What's the cost of running the home? The cost of running this home over its long life, it's built out of steel, will be a fraction of what it would be with a normal home. So the cost of the home, to look at just the cost of labor and materials, that's like looking at an iceberg, just the piece above the waterline. The piece below the waterline is huge. That's the cost of running the home, and there's an economic case to be made for that, I think.
Should be. Right now, the way we are running our homes, our commercial establishment, our cities, in my opinion, tell me if I'm wrong, I think it's 70% just waste. With 30% we could do pretty well. Just maybe we have to walk a little more, we have to do a few more things, and we would be much healthier and fitter by doing those things. We don't have to simply walk on the treadmill, we could walk on the street.
If people came from another planet, could you explain that to them, where you get in your car and you drive to the gym, and when you get to the gym, you get on a bicycle? Would you be able to explain that to somebody? It's nothing if not amusing.
What vision can you see for what could happen on this continent that is somehow similar to what happened with the Rally for Rivers? Is there a vision that you have for what could happen here?
See, in comparison, if you want to see between India and North America, because you said the continent, right? Not the country, okay. The population and land ratio is extremely good. Here, I think right now the most important thing that America should do is, I was today morning also speaking to someone about this. See, for whatever reasons, America has kind of found a leadership position in the world. Not just as political and military power. See, today if you go to most parts of the world, at least in the urban world, everywhere, in India, in China, in any part of Asia or Africa, if you look at people, you stand on a main street and look at people below their knees, they're all wearing blue denims, 50% of the people at least. So if America wears blue-colored clothes, everybody is wearing blue-colored clothes. If you put a hole in your trousers, everybody's putting a hole in the trousers. Not worn down, they're putting a hole. Even a kindergarten child knows this machine runs on oxygen and expels carbon dioxide, but if you pump carbon dioxide into your bottle and say this is the real thing, the whole damn world is drinking it, okay? So, there is a leadership position. It doesn't matter what you do the right thing or the wrong thing, somewhere the world is following. So you must do the right thing now. This is your responsibility, because you have a leadership position. If you do the right things, the world will do the same things. Very easily it can be done. So, one reason I'm spending a certain amount of time in America is, right now in America everybody is drinking alcohol, whole world is trying to drink alcohol. So for example, in India 25 years ago, not even 6 to 7% of the people consumed alcohol. Today, nearly 60% of the people are consuming alcohol in a matter of 25 years, because they think it is modern, it is fashionable. If they don't drink, they're left out of life. And the drugs are also coming in equal proportions. If America meditates, the world will meditate. When are you guys going to do it? That's all I'm asking. So, ecologically also, America needs to do the right things. Right now, one of the biggest concerns is the plastics. See, people are thinking plastic is some kind of an evil. No, plastic is a fantastic material. It's one of the best things we have produced in all these years of whatever we have done, because you can reuse this 1,000 times if you wish. Only problem is right now, plastics are of different grades all kinds of things. Everybody is doing their own thing and you cannot recycle them together. If you recycle them together, it becomes downgraded and it just goes waste, and then you don't know what to do with it. If you fix a certain grade of plastic as a compulsory usage, nobody in America can use any other plastic than properly recyclable plastic. Whether you take a Coke bottle or you take a vegetable crate or you take some other package, everything is same grade plastic. If you do it by law, it's going to cost you a little bit. But if you do that, then everything can be recycled effortlessly. It is the sorting out which is the biggest problem, you understand? You cannot sort it. It's too complex, everybody throws everything, how to sort it? A simple thing I'm telling you, one of the biggest challenges for recycling the PET bottles, in the world we are using nearly 500 billion PET bottles are produced. This is nearly 1 million PET bottles per minute we're producing, okay? The PET means what you're using now for water, Coca-Cola, everything is in that…
Polyethylene terephthalate.
Huh?
Polyethylene
Yeah,
terephthalate.
yeah. So now, if everything is one single grade, very easily we'll recycle. This bottle recycling in India is nearly 100%. 65% in organized sector, 15% in unorganized sector, 10% of the bottles are simply being reused in homes. Very little is lost because we have manpower to pick it. But now one of the biggest challenges is the paper label, that's on it. They're not willing to change that. You just have to print your Coca-Cola directly on the thing. You cannot separate the paper and the plastic. This is not allowing us to recycle. You understand? In India, they hire people, women and children sitting there and ripping off the papers. With that paper you cannot recycle. If the paper goes into the recycle, the plastic gets downgraded. So like this, there are very simple problems. It's just because we don't care it's not happened, not because there's no technology, not because it's economically impossible for us to do. We've not cared enough to pay attention to these things. This is a simple thing, if all of you here, if you push for this in your governments, that America uses only one grade of plastic. There are 6 grades of recyclable plastic, 100% recyclable plastics. Only one you use. Believe me, if this becomes the law everywhere in the world, one big problem is gone. Right now they're saying by 2050, the amount of plastic in the oceans in weight will be equal to the amount of fish in the ocean. Can you beat that? What's wrong with us? It's not a simple problem. I'll tell you, the Wellingary Hills, our backyard, where we are, our India center, our backyard is 10,000 square miles of rainforest. There are elephants, tigers and all kinds of wildlife. There is one pilgrim place where people climb up and go down. There's only once a year, 2 months, lots of pilgrims, nearly 1 million pilgrims go. So they were just throwing plastic all over the place. Some elephants died, lot of deer died. Then we decided, we will stop all the pilgrims at the base of the mountain and give them a cloth bag, take away all their plastic bags and give a cloth bag. A few businesses came and supported us with, whatever they printed their complimentary bags and they gave. And we went up the mountain with about 6,000 volunteers and we brought back 18 tons of plastic just in the form of covers, okay? Just the covers. These covers float around and unknowingly the animals just eat it and it gets stuck in their esophagus and they die because of this. So this we stopped by just putting a cloth bag. What does it cost us? Nothing, okay? It costs us really nothing. Just a few handful of small businesses come together and sponsor these bags and it's a done thing. And this bag is reusable, they can use it 25 times, it's a cloth bag. So these are all simple solutions, it's not some great technology is needed, just attention is needed, human attention is missing.
What would you say is the best way that we can approach transforming our agricultural system?
See, there are ways of looking at it as to what is ideal thing to do, or what is the small corrections we can do so that we are in a little better place. These are two ways to look at it. Because if we talk about the ideal, people will anyway give it up. They're not going to make all those changes in their life. Well, Ed is growing everything that he needs, I believe. To some extent, not everybody can do that, somebody is living on the 20th floor. So, one thing is the usage of pesticide, and this, I call them freaked out seeds. Not normal seeds, they're freaked. You take out the freaked out seeds and reduce the usage of pesticide and fertilizer. If not getting rid of it, at least let there be a law, in 10 years' time you can use only 50%, in 20 years' time you can use only 20%. This must happen. If you don't do this now, the worst thing that you're doing is, you're taking away the insect population. If you take away the insect population, believe me, there is nothing you can do on this planet. They're not small. They're small in size, but their role on making of this planet is very, very big. So, we've been spraying insecticides from airplanes. The most criminal thing we have done is this. From airplanes, we've just sprayed large scale, killing everything. This is chemical warfare. This is not agriculture. All this comes from that fundamental idea which I mentioned earlier, that we think we are the only life. Everything else is subservient to us. We can just mass murder everything and somehow have a con for ourselves. It's very conny. Now, the important thing is, this is not going to happen out of people's awareness. I don't believe that. There must be law. Clearly, we must set forth. From today, in 5 years' time, 25% of the insecticide that you're using per hectare must go down. In 10 years' time, I'm just saying off the cuff, the numbers can be arrived at for different crops. But for different crops at different levels, we must say it must go down like this, and aim at 30 to 40 years' time, there should be no pesticide, no fertilizer, everybody must produce the necessary organic material to grow a crop. If you don't do this now, we may not all die, but we will suffer immensely due to variety of problems in our systems, physiological and psychological problems. Just see the number of problems we're going through. See, you take United States as an example, considered to be the most affluent country on the planet. Why does an individual human being seek affluence or a society seeks affluence? On the first level, it is a choice of nourishment. I can eat what I want. When a man is poor, he seeks affluence because choice of nourishment. Once that is taken care of, it's a choice of lifestyles. So a society which has an enormous choice of nourishment and lifestyle spends $3 trillion on its healthcare for 300 million people. This is a crime against humanity. Because to be healthy, you need chemicals. To be peaceful, you need chemicals. To be joyful, you need chemicals. For everything, you need chemicals. So, if this is not cut down, forget about the people who on the backstreet drugs they're doing, but what about the mainstream? Today, the pharmaceutical industry in the world is larger than food industry. Can you beat it? We're consuming more medicine than food. What's wrong with us? In this, 60% of the consumption, I believe, is in United States. The wealthiest nation on the planet is not healthy because they don't know what to eat. Everything they eat, they've poisoned it themselves. Somewhere, one little farm, organic here, organic there, no, by law, it should be so. The time is over for that, where thinking people will do it consciously and it will happen. It has to be enforced. If it's not enforced now, it's going to be late, because the amount of human suffering we are causing with this is too much. Generations will pass like this.